Hello guys, welcome to the class. Today's topic is molecular basis of the inheritance. Okay, guys, I have sent you one video yesterday. Did you gone through that? Did you watch it that? Prachi, have you watched that video? Yesterday I sent the link, right? Tell me in the chat box, Prachi. Have you gone through that? Okay, so we'll continue that part, okay, from today. Why, Prachi? Okay, you can see that video once again, okay? Okay. Okay, so guys, here is the question for you. The question is, what is the nature of the strands of the DNA duplex? Okay, so the option A is antiparallel and complementary. Option B is identical and complementary. Option C is antiparallel and non-complementary. Option D is dissimilar and non-complementary. Okay, I'm going to launch the poll for you. Answer me in the poll before. Okay, answer me for this question. Okay, guys, I'm going to end the poll. I'm going to share the result with you. Okay, guys, all of them chosen option A. Okay, so the strands of the DNA, we know that the strands of the DNA, right? So it is anti-parallel in nature, right? So one strand runs in the 5' position and 5' to 3'. Another strand runs in the 3' to 5', right? So this is how the DNA strands are run, right? One is in the 5' to 3', and another one is in the 5' to 3', right? So this is we called as the anti-parallel nature, right? So wherever we can see the anti-parallel in the option A, right? In the option B, there is no, and option C, then we know that it is a complementary, right? So wherever in the one strand we can see adenine, so it is wherever in the one strand we can see the adenine, so it is going to pair up with the thymine in the another strand, right? So that is called as a complementary. Okay, so option A is correct. In the option A, they are given that anti-parallel and the complementary. Okay, so whereas in the option B, they are given that identical and the complementary. Complementary is correct, but they are not identical, right? So that's why it is option B is wrong. Then when we come to the option C, they are given that anti-parallel and non-complementary. So yes, they are anti-parallel, but here they are given that non-complementary. So hence this also wrong. Okay. So the correct option is anti-parallel and complementary in nature. Okay. Okay, guys. Now let us go to the genetic code. Guys, can anyone tell me what is the genetic code? The genetic code is the genetic information. It is a genetic information. It is present in the mRNA, right? Information. It is present in mRNA, right? During the central dogma of the molecular biology, we have seen that the information which is present in the DNA, which is used to convert, which is used for the synthesizing the mRNA, right? Then, so the information present in the mRNA, which is utilized for the protein synthesis, that is during the translation, right? So now let us go to what is the genetic code. Okay, so guys, we know that during the code which is present in the mRNA, it is called as the codons or the code, right? So these codons are read by the tRNA. Okay, so the tRNA is not going to understand the any English language or Kannada language or anything. Okay, so it is going to understand the language only when it was in the codon type. Okay, so here the codon is made up of, codon is consist of how many amino acid, guys? The codon is consisting of, answer me. How many amino acids the codon is consisting of? Very good, Prachi. 3 amino acid, right? Why not the 4 amino acid? Why the genetic code is triplet only? So the codon is consisting of three nucleic acid. Sorry, guys, I told you amino acid. Sorry. It is consisting of 3 nucleotides. Nucleotides, right? one codon is made up of the 3 nucleotides, right? Why not the 2 codon or why not the 4 codon? Let us see here. When it comes to the amino acid, we know that how many amino acids are present? So there are 20 standard amino acids are present, right? 20 standard amino acids are present, right? So we have to utilize the 4 nucleotides, four nucleotides for the synthesis of this 20 amino acid, right? And we know that, so the single codon is code for the single amino acid, right? So here you can see that we can take this 4 nucleotides and we can pair up with the 2. If we take the 2 nucleotides, what will happen? Ag, Gc. So 4 to the power of 2, right? So that is 4 into 4. It will give rise to the only 16 amino acid. Okay. So the combination will give rise to the 16 amino acid. But we have 20 amino acid, right? Now it is not possible with the only 2 nucleotides. So then what will happen? You can see 4 into 3. Okay. So 4 to the power of 3. Here 4 nucleotides. 3. So this is the 3 nucleotides we are going to add. 4 nucleotides, what are those? That is adenine, guanine, cytosine and the uracil. That is you seen in the mRNA. Now you can see this. So this is 4 into 4 into 4. Now it is given rise to the 64. Okay guys. So now we have know that. So the 3 by using the 3 nucleotides we can make the 1 codon. So that is specifies the amino acid. Okay. So guys, there are 64 codons present. Okay, there are 64 codons in the genetic code. Okay, 64 codons. We know that 1 codon is made up of the 3 nucleotides. Here, in the 64 codons, 61 are the sense codons. Okay, it is code for the amino acid. Okay, so there are another 4 is there, no? So that is 1 amino acid for the initiator codon. Initiator codon, whereas the another 3 is, right, another 3 is utilized as the stop codons. Stop codons. Okay. So guys, do you have any confusion in this? If you have any confusion, you can ask me. Mayuri, did you gone through that video I have sent you yesterday? Okay guys, let us move to the next. I think you understood this, right? There are 64 codons. One in the 61, in that 64, 61 codons is for the sense, that is code for the amino acid. 1 codon is for the starting, so that is called as the initiator codon. The another 3 are called as the stop codons. Okay. Now let us move to this. Okay. Okay, guys. So we will know here we can see what are the silent features of the genetic code. Okay. So here you can see the codon is triplet. I have told you before only the codon is triplet. It is made up of the three nucleotides. Here the 61 codons code for the amino acid and another 3 code for the do not code for any amino acid. It is called as the stop codons, right? So which are the stop codons we have, guys? We'll see it in the next. Okay. So some amino acids are coded by the more than 1 codon. Yes, they are called as the degenerate. So the degenerate, why the codon is called as the degenerate means for the particular amino acid, there may be more than 1 codon. Okay. For example, you can take the lysine. You can take the lysine. So we have the 6 codon for the lysine. 6 codons. Okay. 6 codon is going to code for the lysine amino acid itself only. Okay. When we take the isoleucine is coded by the 3 codon. 3 codon. So that's why they have told that genetic code is degenerate. Okay. So that is the single amino acid have the more than 1 codon. Okay. So that is called as a degenerate. Okay. So the codon is read in the mRNA in the contiguous fashion. So there are no punctuation present in the codon. So have you seen that how the mRNA is present? In the mRNA, we can see the continuous nucleotides, right? So that is a polynucleotide. So have you seen any comma or the full stop, anything there? No, right? As we seen in the word, as we seen in the book, there are the comma, full stop, all the things are present. But in the genetic code, there is no comma, full stop or anything we can see. Okay, so that's why they are called as the no punctuations are present in the codon. Okay, now let us come to the codon is nearly universal. I'm telling that it was nearly universal, not perfectly universal. Okay, it was nearly universal means the codon which is for example in a humans the leucine was coded by the one particular codon. It is in the bacteria and in the other animals also it is coded by the same same codon. Okay, so that is called as a universal, but they are given nearly. Okay, so for example in a mitochondria, so the stop codon AUAG, that is code for the tryptophan. Okay, tryptophan, that is an amino acid, tryptophan. Okay guys, so that's why it is called as a nearly universal. Okay, so all the organism have the particular codon is coded for the same amino acid itself only. Okay, so that's why it is called as a universal. So from the bacteria to human, UUU. Okay, so that would be code for the phenylalanine only. In bacteria also UUU. So that is code for the phenylalanine only. Whereas in ours, so that is in the humans also, it is code for the phenylalanine only. Okay, but some expectation, some have told that. So exception. So that is in the mitochondria. So that is stop codon. So that is the in our cells. So that is a stop codon. In mitochondria, it code for the tryptophan. Okay, wherever the stop codon comes in that, so that is a UAG. Without stopping the translation, they have to add the tryptophan there. Okay. Now, next we can come to the AUG. Okay, AUG is the initiator codon. We know that, right? AUG is act as the initiator codon. Initiator codon. Okay, guys. So this AUG has the two main functions. Okay, it is also act as the initiating the translation. So that is the initiator codon, and also the another function is it is also acting as the whenever after the during the initiation the AUG will come. So that is called as the initiation, right? Initiator methionine. So whenever the methionine comes after the translation was started, right? So that is code for the methionine amino acid. Okay, so that's why they are told that it code for the methionine whenever the after the starting of the translation during the elongation. Okay, and it is also act as the initiator codon during the starting of the translation. The first amino acid which is comes to the during the translation was that is the methionine. So that is the initiator amino acid. Okay, so guys, I have told you there are three stop codons are present. So that is UAA, UAG, UGA. Okay, so these three are the stop codons present in the genetic code. So the I have told you except the 61. So the one is the initiator. So that is the AUG. So that is code for the methionine. Then another three are UAA, UAA, UAG, and UGA. Okay, these are the stop codons. Whenever during the elongation it encounters this type of the codons in the mRNA means there is a translation is going to stop there. Okay, so guys, if you have any confusion in this genetic code, you can ask me. If you understood this means you can type yes. Prachi, Mayuri, if you understood this means you can type yes. If you have any confusion, you can ask me, I will clear that. Okay, you don't have any confusion. Okay, let us start. Let us go to the next. Okay, so guys, here is the question for you. I think you will answer this. Is an easy question only. Okay, so the removal of the introns. Okay, the removal of the introns and joining of the exons. Okay, joining of the exons is called as. Okay, so the options are option A, capping, option B, tailing. Okay, option C, splicing, option D, all. Okay, guys, I'm going to run the poll. You can answer me in the poll. Very good, Prachi. Yes, your answer is correct. Okay. Then also I'm going to launch the poll. You can answer me. Okay. Okay. Answer me in the poll. I'm going to give you only 20 seconds. Okay. It is an easy question, right? Okay. Only 50% have answered. Answer me, guys. Only 5 seconds or more. I'm going to end the poll. Okay, I'm going to share the result with you. All of them have chosen the option C. Okay, no one chosen option A, B, and D. Very good, guys. Okay, we know that, right? The removal of the introns. So whenever the RNA was synthesized during the transcription, it is like this, right? So it is like this. So this is the 5' and this is the 3'. It is in between. It is consisting of the some introns. Okay. 1 minute. So in between it is consisting of the introns. So that is do not required for us, right? So this is the introns. 1 minute. So guys, can anyone tell me is the introns is going to code or is the exons is going to code? Right. So these are the red things. Which are the red things you are observing here? So these are the introns. Okay. These are the introns which is going to be removed because it is does not code for the any protein. Okay. Does not code any protein here. Okay. So that's why this is it was removed during the splicing process. Okay. It was removed during the splicing process. Option C is correct answer. Whereas the capping is the addition of the guanosine, right? There is the addition of the guanosine at the methionine guanosine at the 5' position. So that is called as a capping to the mRNA, right? So the tailing is polyadenylation at the 3'. Polyadenylation at the 3'. Polyadenylation. Right? Polyadenylation at the 3'. It is called as the tailing. Good, guys. The correct answer. Okay. Let us come to the translation. Okay. So guys, what is the translation? We all know that. What is the translation, right? Can anyone tell me what is the translation? What we are going to do in the translation? So the translation is, in this translation, mRNA, so the information present in the mRNA is utilized in the protein synthesis, right? Protein synthesis. Right. So by which enzyme we are going to utilize for the protein synthesis, guys? Can anyone tell me which enzyme is involved in this? Tell me in the chat box which enzyme is involved in the protein synthesis. I'm asking about enzyme. Enzyme. There is a peptide bond formation will take place. No enzyme. I'm asking you enzyme. Okay. So there is an enzyme which is going to form here, which is going to help here is the peptidyl transferase. Okay. Peptidyl transferase. Okay, this is the enzyme. Okay, so what is actually translation is going on? What is actually translation? So it is the synthesis of the protein. Guys, can anyone tell me where the protein synthesis takes place in bacteria and in eukaryotes? Can anyone tell me where is the translation is going to take place? Whether it is in the cytoplasm or in nucleus. Tell me, guys, you know answer, I think. Where it is going to take place. Very good, Prachi. Yes, it is going to take place in the cytoplasma, right? In the bacteria also and in the eukaryotes also, it is going to take place in the cytoplasma, right? Okay. So which is the organelle used for the protein synthesis, guys? Which organelles we are used in the protein synthesis? Recall which organelle we are using in the protein synthesis. Answer me in the chat box. Answer me in the chat box. Involved in the class, guys. Yes, very good. Very good, Prachi. Ribosome, right? Ribosome is used in the protein synthesis. Okay. Now, for the translation, what are the requirements we need? Okay. Now we are going to prepare the protein now. Okay. So what are the things we require now for the protein synthesis, guys? Tell me one by one. Okay. So we are going to note that. Okay. So Prachi already told that a ribosome is required. Okay. Ribosome is required. And we require a mRNA, right guys? mRNA we required. So then tRNA. Only this much is enough. What other things we require, guys? Tell me. We require amino acid, right? We require amino acids. Then what we require? We require in the ribosome only the enzyme will be there, mRNA, tRNA, and the amino acid. We require the energy molecules also. Okay, energy molecules. Okay. Very good, Prachi. Yes, we require the energy. Okay. Now we will see how the translation is going to take place. Okay. So now we will go to the steps of the translation. Steps of translation. Okay, guys. Okay. So which is the first step, guys, which is going to take place in the translation? Activation of the amino acid, right? We are going to activate the amino acid. Activation. Okay, activation of amino acid. Okay, so the amino acids are present in the cytoplasma. Here we are going to activate the amino acid. Okay, so which is the enzyme required in the activation of the amino acid, guys? Can you tell me? Amino acyl T synthetase. Amino acyl tRNA synthetase. Amino acyl, you can take amino acyl synthetase. Okay, amino acyl synthetase, guys. Okay, so what it is going to do is, so already told that energy molecule is required, right? Amino acid here there. Now for this amino acid, we are going to add the ATP molecule. Then we are going to get the amino acyl AMP plus PPI. We are going to eliminate this 2-phosphate group. Okay, so this is what called as the activation of the amino acid. Okay, so what will happen? Amino acid is going to be added to the ATP. Then it is going to convert into the amino acyl AMP, not ATP. Okay, so then what will happen? Charging of this activated amino acid to the tRNA, right? We are going to add this activated amino acid to the tRNA now. What will happen now, guys? So that is, now what will happen? Amino acyl AMP is there, right? Amino acyl AMP plus tRNA, it is going to give the amino acyl tRNA. Amino acyl tRNA, right? Now it is going to give the amino acyl tRNA. This is the starting steps of the translation, right? So that is the activation of the amino acid and the charging of the activated amino acid to the tRNA now. Okay, so then what is the third steps, guys? So the third step is the initiation, right? And the fourth step is the elongation. And the fifth step is the termination. Right? So now let us see what is happened during the initiation. Guys, you know that whenever the protein synthesis was not taking place in the cell, on that time, the ribosomes, they are not together. Okay, so we know that so tell me, guys, in the prokaryotes, which type of the ribosome is present in the prokaryotes? Either it is 70S or is it 80S. Answer me, guys, in the chat box. So which type of the ribosome you can see in the prokaryotes and eukaryotes? Answer me fast, guys. Answer me. Okay. So in the prokaryotes, we will see the 70S, right? 70S ribosome. Whereas in the eukaryotes, we will see the 80S ribosome, right? So in the eukaryotes, we will see the 80S ribosome, right? When it comes to the 70S ribosome, it is made up of the two subunit, right? One is called as the 30S subunit. It is a small subunit. Another one is called as the 50S subunit. Okay, so it is the large subunit, right, guys? It is in the bacteria. Okay, so when it comes to the eukaryote, there is 40 and the 60. Guys, don't go and add these two subunits. Okay, it is not according to that. It is due to the sedimentation coefficient. They are given the 30S and the 50S and 40S and the 60S. Okay, so this is 40S and the 60S. So this is the small subunit. This is the large subunit in the eukaryotes. So whenever there is no translation is going to take place in the cell, on that time, it is not going to be combined like the 70S or the 80S. Okay, it is going to be individual like 30S and the 50S. Okay, so what happened during the translation, guys? So whenever there is a translation is occurring, on that time, this is the cytoplasma. Okay, this white color you think cytoplasma. So this 30S subunit is there, right? So 30S subunit has the three sites, right? One is the, can you tell me which are the site the 30S subunit have, guys? Which are the site the 30S subunit have? Answer me in the chat box. The three sites are present, right? On the 30S subunit. Which are those sites? That is EPA site, right? So the 30S subunit as the EPA site, right? You can see in this diagram also, guys. Okay, so now what will happen during the translation? This 30S subunit was binded by the, now this mRNA is there, no? So this mRNA is going to bind to the 30S subunit. Okay, so when this mRNA bind to this 30S subunit, what will happen now? So the tRNA, so that is first the tRNA is going to bind this mRNA. So guys, in the prokaryotes, we have the sequence where the translation starts is Shine-Dalgarno sequence. Okay, Shine-Dalgarno sequence. Dalgarno sequence. Okay, it is some sequence consisting of the nucleotides. Okay, for example, AAU, GGU, like that. Okay, so now let us come to the so that is, there is some sequence present on this. So that is the Shine-Dalgarno sequence present on the mRNA. So then this ribosome is going to bind to the Shine-Dalgarno sequence now. Okay, now there is a combination of the ribosome and the mRNA taken place now, complex. Okay, now what will happen? For this, the first tRNA, so the first amino acid tRNA, which is going to bind to this site. Okay, so now the tRNA. So, okay, tRNA. So that is amino acyl tRNA. Amino acyl tRNA. tRNA is going to bind to this mRNA now. Okay. So, guys, which is the first amino acyl tRNA or initiator tRNA going to bind first? So that is called as the formyl methionine. Okay. So that is called as the formyl methionine in the prokaryotes. Formyl methionine. Formyl methionine. Okay, formyl methionine in the prokaryote, whereas in the eukaryotes, it is only the methionine. Okay, methionine tRNA. Now what will happen? It is going to bind to the P site. Okay, it is going to bind to the P site. Okay, this is the A site. So this is the P site and it is the E site. Okay, guys. So this is the E site, P site and the A site. What is the E site? So that is the exit site. Okay. So P site, peptidyl where the peptide bond will take place. So that is the P site. And the A site is the where amino acyl tRNA. So that is the second and third. And after, so the first is going to bind to the only the P site. Okay. Next, whichever the amino acyl tRNA will come, that is going to bind to the A site. Okay. So this is how the initiation will start. Okay, now there's a tRNA is binded to this on the P side. Now what will happen, guys? So now the 50S subunit or the 60S subunit, okay, which is going to bind to this. Okay, so this is the 50S subunit. 50S subunit is going to bind now. Okay, what will happen now, guys? When it is binded by the 50S subunit, we know that this 50S subunit as the 23S rRNA. Okay, 23S rRNA. So here it acts as the peptidyl transferase enzyme. Peptidyl transferase enzyme. Transferase. Okay. So guys, remember that if in the exam they ask that in which RNA the peptidyl transferase activity is there, means that is on the 23S rRNA. Okay. Not always the protein is going to catalyze the reaction. Here it is the RNA, it is going to catalyze the reaction. So that is a ribozyme. It is called as a ribozyme. Okay. It is called as the ribozyme. Okay, guys. Now what will happen? The elongation will start. Okay. See here, guys, what will happen in this diagram. So you can see that I have told you that. So amino acid tRNA is already binded in this. Okay. So this is called as the initiator tRNA. So this is called as the initiator. Initiator means first amino acid tRNA. Okay. First amino acyl tRNA, or you can also call as a formal tRNA. Okay. Formal tRNA. Okay. So this is present on the P site now. Okay. Now what will happen? It has the formal methionine now. Right. So now what will happen? So the another amino acid will come. So we know that. So the codons which is present on the mRNA, it is called as a codon. So there is a sequence which is present on the tRNA. It is called as the anticodon. Okay. Now what will happen? The second amino acid will come. So it was recognized by the. So now what will happen? So this tRNA, by the using the anticodon, it will recognize the next codon. Then it will take the another amino acid. Okay. So this is the another second amino acid will come on the A site. Okay. So what will happen now? So it will second amino acid will come. Okay. Now what will happen, guys? So this second amino acid, the amino acid in the P site and the A site. Okay. So here the peptide bond formation will take place. So this is the first diagram. It is the amino acid is coming there in the A site. In the second, you can see there is a peptide bond formation takes place between the first. So that is the amino acid which is in the P site and in the A site. Okay. So now what will happen? So peptide bond formation will take place. So guys, the bond formation between the two amino acids. This is the one amino acid. This is the another amino acid. So this bond is called as a peptide bond. Okay. Peptide bond. So between the amino acid, the bond is called as a peptide bond. So now the peptide bond formed between these two amino acids. Next, in the third, we can see what happens here. So now, so the amino acid which is joined there by the peptide bond. Now, from the P site, the amino acid tRNA will move to the A site now. Okay. Now it is in the P site. It will move to the A site now. Okay. You can see here. It is in the P site, right? P site. Now it is in the P site here. It is moved to the A site here now. Okay. This is the one amino acid. This is the second amino acid. This is the third amino acid. Okay. Now what will happen? So after that, now it is in the A site now, right? Now, so this deaminated. So in this tRNA, there is no amino acid is present, right? Now it will move to the exit site. You can see here. Now it is moved to the E site now. Okay. Then it was removed now. Okay. This E site. From this, the empty amino acid tRNA was removed. Okay. So now what will happen? So you can see which is present in the A site, the amino acid joined here, which is present in the A site, now which is shifted to the P site. You can see here, it is in the A site now. So after the exist of this empty tRNA, now it enters from the A site, it is enters into the P site now. Okay. So this is how the elongation will take place. First, the amino acid tRNA will come to the A site. From the P site to A site, the peptide bond formation will take place. Now the jumping of this whole thing from the P site to A site will take place. Now just turned to the E site. It was existed through the E site, which is the empty tRNA. Okay. Now the same procedure will happen till the full codon was completed. Okay. So guys, when full codon was completed, so now the tRNA now tRNA will get the stop codon. Okay, stop codon. So this is mRNA. Till this, the protein was synthesized. Okay, till this, protein was going to synthesized here. Okay. Okay, 1 minute. So this is the proteins was synthesizing. Okay. So now what will happen? So here there is a presence of the stop codon, you can see. Okay. So now what will happen? Guys, the stop codon was not read by the tRNA. Okay. So this is the stop codon is present here. Now what will happen? The tRNA cannot understood the stop codon now. What will happen? So there are the release factor will come here. Okay. So the release factor will come. Release factor will arise here, and that will remove this both the subunits. So that is both the subunits of the ribosome now. Okay, now it is like this, right? So the mRNA is going through this now, right? So now what will happen? Release factor will come and it will remove the both the subunits of the ribosome now. What will happen now? So now the protein synthesis was stopped here by the ribozyme enzyme. Okay, because the ribozyme enzyme is present in the 50th subunit. When it is got separated, there is no protein synthesis will take now. Okay, so now again the same thing happen. The both the subunits are separated now. Okay, guys, do you have any confusion here? You can ask me. Guys, did you understood this? Type yes if you understood this. Guys, type yes if you understood this. Okay, Prachi. Okay, guys, here is a beautiful animation you can see here. Guys, see here. So what is going to take place here? So see here, this is what we can see. This is the large subunit, right? This is the large subunit. You can see here, this is the small subunit, right? Small subunit. Here you can see mRNA. mRNA. Guys, you can see here on the mRNA, there is a codons is present, right? So here you can see UAA. Okay, UAA. So that is a stop codon. So here you can see that this is the amino acyl tRNA, which is a charged tRNA, right? Amino acyl tRNA, right? So here you can see the amino acids are going to be attached here through between these two is the peptide bond. Peptide bond is present between these two, right? Here you can see this all the attachment is due to the peptide bond. Peptide bond. Okay. So guys, you can see here, this is the E site. Here it is the P site. So this is the A site, right? You can observe once again. So see here what is happening. So when it is moved through the this side, you can see here now it will this amino acyl tRNA. So now it is encounters the stop codon. Here is the UAA stop codon is there. Okay. So now it is not read by the tRNA now. Okay. So that's why it is going to be separated now. Okay. So the all the subunit is going to be separated now. Okay. So this is how the translation is going to take place. Okay. So now it is having the all the amino acid which is attached here. Now see here. Now the termination is going to take place. So both the subunit is separated and the protein was released in the cytoplasma. Right? Have you seen that? Okay. Okay, guys. I think you understood this. If you have any confusion, guys, you can ask me about the translation. So here is the one question for you. Amino acid sequence in the protein synthesis. Okay. The amino acid sequence in protein synthesis is decided by the sequence of. Okay. So it is decided by the sequence of. Option A is rRNA. Option B is tRNA. Option C, mRNA. And option D is dRNA. Sorry, option D is cDNA, guys. So I'm going to run a poll for you. You can answer me in the poll, guys. Okay, sorry guys. Yeah. Okay. Everyone chosen the option C answer. No one chosen the option A, B, and D. Okay. Good guys. Very good. So the correct option is mRNA. So right. So the option A, rRNA is also wrong. Option B, tRNA is also wrong. Option D, cDNA is also wrong. Right. So why rRNA is not possible and why tRNA is not possible? mRNA is the correct answer. We know that. Right. If you have any question about this, you can ask me. Okay, guys. Do you have any confusion in this, guys? If you have anything about the translation, you can ask me. I'm going to summarize now what is the translation. Okay. So in the translation, we have a 5 steps. The first one is the charging of the amino acid. The second one is first one is the activation of the amino acid. Second one is this charging of the tRNA. And third one is the initiation. And the fourth one is the elongation. And fifth one is the termination. Right? I think you all know about these steps. If you have any confusion, you can ask me. Otherwise, we will go to the regulation in the prokaryotes. Okay. Okay, guys. Okay, guys, I will utilize this sheet. Okay. So, guys, in the gene regulation, okay, gene regulation, when we come to the gene regulation was different in the prokaryotes and the eukaryotes. Okay. Prokaryotes and in the eukaryotes. Right? So we know that the prokaryotes is a very simpler, that is a bacteria, and eukaryotes, it is, we can tell that it is consisting of so many genes and the chromosomes are present in the eukaryotes, right? So where the DNA, where the chromosomes was suspended in the cytoplasma in the prokaryotes, whereas in the eukaryotes, we have the nucleus in that the chromosomes are present. So that is DNA is present in the nucleus, right? So guys, so how this gene regulation is going to take place and why we require a regulation. For example, you can see, you have observed that there is a regulator, right? So whenever you require the gas in the high amount or in the low amount, you can regulate by using the regulator, right? So like that, whenever we require a gene expression and whenever we don't require a gene expression, so that is controlled by this regulation system. Okay. When it comes to the prokaryote, guys, it is only a simpler type of the gene regulation present. So that is the operon type. Okay. Operon type of the gene regulation present in the prokaryote. When it comes to the eukaryote, there is a very complicated type of the regulations present. Here, the gene regulation is going to be in the 4 steps. Okay. In the 4 steps, the gene is going to be regulated. Okay. So the first step is during the transcription. During the transcription, the gene will be regulated. Okay. So we know that by modification of the histone protein. And second one is the during the processing. Okay. During processing. Okay. And the third one is the, and by during the translation is also going to be happen. During the translation. During the translation. Okay. And another one is during the after the transcription also. Okay. After the transcription. Okay, so these are the, in the eukaryote, there are the 4 steps of the transcription. There are the 4 steps of the regulation of the gene is going to take place, whereas in the prokaryotes only operon type. Okay, operon. So we are going to learn this about the today now. Okay, so this operon type of the gene regulation was given by the, so Jacob Monod. Okay, so Jacob Monod and Francisco Jacob in the year 1961. Okay, guys, in the year 1961, the first gene regulation was discovered to be lac operon. Okay, so lac operon. We know that in the prokaryotes, there is a, in prokaryotes, we can see polycystonic mRNA, right? Polycystonic. In the eukaryotes, in the prokaryotes, we can see the polycystonic mRNA, right? Polycystonic. Guys, what is the polycystonic means? this mRNA is consisting of the more than one gene, okay, more than one gene that is code for the proteins, okay. So there are, it consisting of the genes which is required for coded by the more than 2 or more proteins, okay. Then when we come to the eukaryotes, it is a monocistronic. It is going to code for the single protein, okay. It is going to code for the single protein. So here the in the polycystonic mRNA in the prokaryote, it is controlled under the single promoter region, okay. It was controlled under the single promoter region, so that is called as the operon, okay. Now let us see operon. So guys, the operon was first studied in the prokaryotes, so that is called as the E. coli bacteria, okay. So that it was first studied in the E. coli bacteria. E. coli bacteria. So we know that it is a rod shape and the negative. It is the negative, right? So now let us come to the how the lac operon concept is, okay. So guys, you can see this. This is the gene, okay. So this is the gene of the bacteria, okay, guys. In this genes of the bacteria, you can see the promoter region, okay. So here we can see the two promoter. Here, this is not comes under the lac operon, okay. Only from here to here is the lac operon, okay. So see here, guys. In this, the regulator gene, the present in the, it is the promoter was separate here. So this promoter is going to code for the regulator. So that is a regulatory gene. It is called as a regulatory gene. It is going to code for the repressor protein. Repressor protein. Okay. So it is going to code for the repressor protein. So this is the repressor, okay. You can see that it is the repressor, okay. Now you can remove this. Now you can come here, okay. So here you can see that here is another promoter, okay. So here this under this only one promoter, you can see there are three genes, okay. So that is LAC-Z gene, LAC-Y gene, and the LAC-A gene, okay. Guys, this is only called as operon, okay. So these all the three genes are controlled under the only single promoter, okay. So that's why it is called as a operon, okay. So now you can see here in the lac operon, the LAC-Z gene, okay. So this LAC-Z gene is code for the beta galactosidase. Beta galactosidase. Guys, we know that after the transcription, translation is going to take place. After the translation, it is going to give a beta galactosidase protein. Okay, it is a protein, guys. Okay, protein. Okay, now we will see what is a Y. Y is code for. After the transcription and translation, it is going to code for the permease. Permease. Okay. So now A. So the LAC-A, it is code for the trans-acetylase. Trans-acetylase. Okay, guys. So on the lac operon, you have to remember that there is a LAC-I gene. So that LAC-I gene is coded for the repressor protein. Repressor protein. Okay. I means inhibitor. Okay, not the inducer. Okay. So on the other hand, we can see that. So it is controlled by the one promoter, and so there is another promoter region where it is going to control the synthesis of three proteins. So that is beta galactosidase, permease, and trans-acetylase. Okay, guys. In the exam, they may ask you what is the order of the gene which is present on the lac operon. Okay, so that is, you can see that Z, Y, A. Okay, guys. So this is the order of the genes which is present on the lac operon. Okay, guys. Now I will tell you one thing. Okay. So guys, in the bacteria, we will use to grow the bacteria on the culture media. Okay. So this is a culture media. Okay. So whenever for this culture media, for the carbon source, we will use the glucose. Okay. Glucose and lactose also we will use. Okay. Lactose also we will use. So then the bacteria is going to grow on this culture plate now. Okay. This is called as a culture plate. This is thing where we can, in this thing, there are the media are present. So for the carbon source, we are taken the only glucose and the lactose. Okay. No other thing is going to act as a carbon source. We require a carbon source, right? So for the bacteria, they require the carbon source that will take from the glucose and the lactose now. So guys, what will happen now is the bacteria is not going to utilize the lactose first. Okay. So glucose is the very favorite food of the bacteria. Okay, so it is going to utilize the glucose first. Okay, so if the lactose was in the high amount also, if the glucose was in the very small amount also, the first bacteria is going to complete the glucose now. Okay, so now after the completion of glucose only, the lactose is going to utilize. Okay, for example, you are like, whenever your mother was done the very favorite food of you, first you are going to eat your favorite food, right? Then only you are going to eat the other food which is prepared by your mom, right? So the same thing happens here. So the bacteria favorite food was glucose. It is going to finish up first glucose. Okay, whenever the glucose was not there, then only it is going to see that, oh, lactose is present, I have to now eat this. Okay, now utilize this. Now it is going to utilize the lactose now. Okay, guys, so think, guys, whenever the lactose is not present, when we are not going to utilize the lactose, we do not require the lactose for the breakdown of the lactose, right? So in that case, what will happen? So the bacteria is not going to utilize this, the enzyme which is, the bacteria is not going to synthesize the enzymes which is required for the lactose breakdown. Okay, so now it was in the off condition. Okay, now the genes is not going to synthesize now. It should be stopped now. Okay, so now what will happen, we will see, guys. There are two types of the operon present. So the first one is called as the inducible operon, inducible, and second one is called as the repressible operon. Okay, guys. So this lac operon will comes under the inducible operon. Okay, why we are calling as an inducible operon, guys? So now our gene was in the off condition, right? Because we have the glucose now, we do not want any lactose breakdowning enzyme now. So that's why it is in the off condition. So that is, it is in the off condition. Okay. Now we want to induce this after the completion of the glucose. Now glucose was not there in the media. Now we require the lactose for the for our metabolism, right? So what it will do now? So it is going to on now. Okay, on now. So guys, so the first thing is, whenever there is a lactose was present, whenever there is a lactose was absent also, there is a transcription of this gene. Okay, that is a Z, Y, and A will take place in the bacterial cell. Okay, but it is in a very small amount. Okay, only small amount of the enzymes are synthesized. Okay, so that is this lac Z, that is a permease, right? It is going to help this. Like, this is the media. Okay, so you can think that this is the media, so this is the bacteria. Okay, so now the lactose is present here, right? So in the bacteria there is a permease enzyme present. Okay, so it is in a very small amount. Okay, now this permease is going to help this lactose to come inside the bacteria. Okay, now the lactose was come inside the bacteria now. Okay, so now what will happen? So the lactose is converted into the allolactose. Okay, lactose is converted into the allolactose. Okay, guys, if in the exam they ask about which is the inducer of the lac operon, okay, which is going to start the lac operon gene. So that is means, so that is the, if they give the lactose means you can take the option lactose. Otherwise, in the option there is the allolactose is also there, means you have to tick the allolactose. Okay, so the mainly the allolactose is going to induce the transcription of the lac operon. Okay, guys. So how this lactose is converted into the allolactose, guys? I have told you that during the, whenever the lactose is not going to utilize, on that time also the lac gene, so that is Z, Y, and A, it is going to synthesize in the small amount, right? So that beta galactosidase, which is coded by the lac Z gene, right? So that is the beta galactosidase. Beta galactosidase is going to help in the conversion of this lactose into the allolactose. Okay, conversion of this lactose into the allolactose. Okay, now what will happen? So this allolactose is act as the inducer. Okay, I think you understood this, guys. Now let us go to the how the lac operon is going to work. Okay, so guys, see here, whenever there is no lactose, okay, whenever there is no lactose, otherwise you can think that glucose is there. Okay, presence of the glucose, presence of glucose. Okay, 1 minute. I will take the another things. So whenever there is a glucose is present in the media, what will happen, guys? So this gene is not going to be operate now. Okay, this gene is not going to activate now. Okay, so it is not undergoing the transcription now. The transcription is off now. Okay, what is the main reason? We can see. So when the absence of the lactose, this regulator gene, so that is a LAC-I. Okay, LAC-I, not the inducer. Okay, LAC-I is the inhibitor. So this gene is going to be transcribed now. Okay, transcribed by the RNA polymerase. Then it is going to give one protein. Okay, then it is undergoing the translation. It is going the mRNA. Then it is going to give a protein. Okay, guys. So that is called as a repressor. Okay, so that protein is called as a repressor. Or in the exam, they may ask you that the product of the LAC-I gene is called as. Okay, guys, don't confuse. That is the repressor. Okay, the product of the LAC-I gene is not inducer. That is the repressor. Okay. So now what will happen, guys? There is no presence of the lactose. No. Now what will happen? So this repressor is going to bind on the site. Okay. So after the promoter site, there is another site present on the gene. Okay. So that site is called as the operator site. Okay, guys. Here you can see operator site is present. Okay. It is going to operate. Okay. So we know that some operators works are there, right? It is going to operate between the so many works, right? So like that, the operator is going to work here. Okay. What is the function of the operator here? You can see this repressor now, it is going to bind on the operator region. Don't confuse, guys. It is not going to bind on the promoter site. Okay. It is going to bind on the operator site. Repressor is going to bind on the operator. Okay. So when it binds to the operator, so for example, you can see here, guys. So this is the mRNA. Okay. So this is the operator site where this is binded by the repressor now. Okay. So there is no place for the mRNA. There is no place for the polymerase enzymes to move through here, right? So now what will happen? The polymerase was inhibited here only. Okay. Now the polymerase is not going to move from here. So after that, here there are the structural genes are present, right? So that's why the transcription is not going to take place now. So this is now there is a no transcription is going to take place. Okay. So because the RNA polymer is not going to move through this, right? So that's why the transcription was inhibited here. Okay. So during when the absence of the lactose or presence of the glucose. Okay. So now we will see, guys, what happened now when glucose is not present and when the lactose is present. Okay. So observe here what will happen now. Okay. So here glucose is absent. Your favorite food was absent here now. So there is no choice. You have to eat the another food only, which is prepared by your mom. Right. So now what will happen, guys? So there is the presence of lactose, right? Presence of the lactose now. What will happen? So guys, you have to remember that if the lactose was present also, absence also, the repressor is going to synthesize. Okay. So the repressor is going to synthesize here. Okay. I have told you here that. So now the permease was synthesized in the small amount. So it is going to move that lactose in the media into the bacteria. Okay. So now this lactose is converted into the allolactose, right? Guys, what will happen now? Whenever there is a lactose present in the media, so this the lactose was converted into the allolactose. Now, this allolactose is going to bind to this repressor now. Okay. So it is a purple color you are seeing, right? So this is called as the allolactose. Okay, here also they are given that, right? So it is the allolactose. When it binds to the when it binds to the repressor, now the repressor is going to try to bind on the operator region. Okay, so it is going to bind to the operator region. But what happens here, guys? So now the operator was modified here, right? Now the operator is not operator, sorry. So this repressor is modified here by binding of the allolactose, right? So now this repressor along with the allolactose, it is trying to go and bind to the operator region. Okay, but it is not possible because it was modified itself, right? So that's why the operator region was not binded by this repressor with the allolactose. Whenever the repressor you come alone, I will give the place for you. Okay. whenever you come along with the allolactose, I'm not going to give a place for you. Okay, the operator is telling like that. Okay, so now what will happen? The repressor is not going to bind on the operator region now. Okay, so now what will happen, guys? So the repressor is not going to bind on the operator region. Now the operator region was free now, right? So now what will happen? So the RNA polymer, as usually when it bind to the promoter, when it bind to the promoter side, here the RNA polymer is bind to the promoter side. Here there is no any, in this mRNA, there is a structural gene containing. Here there is no any repressor is binded. Now the RNA, the polymerase is going to, aram se it is going to synthesize the synthesize the mRNA now. Okay, so there is no repressor is binded here. So that's why it is aram se it will move through the mRNA now, and it is going to synthesize the, sorry, it is moving through the DNA and it is going to synthesize the mRNA now. Okay, so the RNA polymer is going to synthesize the mRNA, right? So it is going to take place now. Okay, guys. Now what will happen? The mRNA was synthesized. Okay, so in this mRNA we have the, in this mRNA we have the product of the lac Z, the product of the lac Y, and the product of the lac A. Right. So now after the translation, guys, this is only called as the polycystonic. Okay, this is only called as polycystonic because it has the because it contains the 2 or more gene for the 2 or more product for the protein synthesis, right? So that's why. Now what will happen after the translation will take place? You can see, guys. So this, the enzymes which is appear here with the lac Z is the beta galactosidase. Here you can see the permease in the purple color, and you can see that light green color. So that is the trans-acetylase enzyme. Okay. So now what is the function of this permease, guys? I have told you that movement of this lactose from the media into the bacterial cell. So that is by the lactose. Okay. Now what is the function of the galactosidase? Galactosidase is going to convert. Okay. Now what is the function of galactosidase, guys? Now the protein was synthesized now, right? What is the function of this galactosidase, guys? Galactosidase, it is going to convert this lactose. Guys, we know that lactose is the disaccharide, right? Lactose is disaccharide or monosaccharide? So this lactose is now going to convert into the glucose and galactose. Okay. So now this glucose is utilized and the galactose is also not left. Okay. This galactose is also converted into the glucose and it is utilized by the bacteria. It is utilized by the bacteria for growth. Okay, for the growth. Okay. So this is about the lac operon, guys. Okay. So here you have to remember that the first one is the allolactose. So the allolactose is the inducer of the lac operon. Whenever there is a lactose is present, this allolactose is going to bind to the repressor, and so now the repressor is not going to inhibit the transcription. The RNA polymer is going to transcribe. Okay. So now you have to remember the genes which is present in the lac operon. So that is the lac Z gene, lac Y gene, and lac A gene. The order is also very important. Okay. Lac Y is for the beta galactosidase. Sorry, lac Z is for the beta galactosidase. Y is for the permease, and A is for the trans-acetylase. Okay. So guys, here the function of the trans-acetylase is in the detoxification. Okay. It is helps in the detoxification. Detoxification. Okay, guys, if you have any confusion here, you can ask me. Okay, guys, if you have any confusion here, you can ask me. I will explain you. Guys, did you understood this? Lac operon. So nothing, guys. The lac operon is here the 2 or more genes which are controlled under the single promoter. Okay, single promoter. So that is called as the lac. So that is called as the operon. Okay. So guys, now you can tell me in the chat box. I will ask you the question. So what is the inducer here? Guys, tell me what is the inducer in the name of the inducer in the lac operon? Mayuri, Prachi, answer me in the chat box. What is the inducer in the lac operon? Answer me, guys. Very good, Prachi. Very good. Very good, Prachi. But allolactose is the inducer. Very good. And who is going to inhibit the lac operon? Who is going to inhibit the lac operon? That is the repressor, right? Repressor is going to inhibit the transcription, right? Okay. The repressor is coded by the which gene of the lac operon? The repressor is coded by which gene of the lac operon? Answer me, guys, in the chat box. Very good, Prachi. Yes, I gene, right? Now tell me, so how many genes which are present on the lac operon? How many genes? Which are those genes? Can you tell me in the order? In the order, tell me, Prachi. Order of the genes present on the lac operon. Tell me. Order, I'm asking about the order. What is this, Prachi? I didn't understood. So the order is Z, Y, A. Yes, the order is Z, Y, A. Very good. Z is code for the beta galactosidase, Y is for the permease, A for the trans acetylase. Okay. What is the operon, guys? Operon. Answer me in the chat box. What is operon? Guys, one more thing. The operon is present only in the prokaryotic systems. Okay. It is not going to present in the eukaryotes. Tell me, guys, what is the operon? I'll tell you that single promoter is controls the more than 2 or 3 genes. So that is called as the operon, right? Okay. I think you understood this. Very good, Prachi. Okay. If you understood the lac operon, this is a very easy question for you. You have to answer me, okay? So here, guys, there is a match of the following, okay? So match of the following, you have to match with the genes and its product, okay? Genes and with its product. Okay, guys, you can see here. So option A, in this A, they are given that I gene, okay? I gene. In the B, they are given Z gene. And in the C, they are given the A gene. And in the D, they are given Y gene. Okay, guys, you know about the Z, Y, A product. You can answer this question very easily, guys. Okay. So, can I run the poll in 2 minutes, guys? Very good, Prachi. Yes, very good. Yeah. Okay. Mayuri, are you there, ma? Mayuri, are you there? Mayuri, are you there? Okay, guys. Okay, Prachi, very good. So here the correct option is option D, right? We know that. So, okay, Mayuri. Okay. So here you can see, guys. So the I gene, we know that it is code for the repressor, right? It is code for the repressor. So that is for the I gene, it is the fourth option is correct. And for the Z gene, first one is correct. And for the A gene, fourth one is correct. And for the Y gene, it is code for the permease and 2 is correct. Very good, Prachi. The correct option is option D. Okay. Guys, here is another question. So regulation of the lac operon by the repressor is referred as. I have told you that it is referred as. So the option A is positive regulation. Option B is negative regulation. Option C is both 1 and 2. Option D is none. Okay. So guys, can I run the poll? Answer me in the poll. Guys, I'm going to run the poll. Answer me in the poll. Okay, guys, I'm going to end the poll. Only 50% answered. Mayuri, have you answered? Okay. Okay, guys, I'm going to share the result with you. All of them have chosen the option B. Okay, guys, we can see why. Okay. So, yes, Very good, Prachi. Yes. Correct option is option B. Negative regulation. I have told you, right? Whenever there is no lactose present in the media, so the genes are in the off. There is no transcription is going to take place, right? So that's why the lac operon is example for the negative regulation. Okay. So then what is the positive regulation, guys? So positive regulation means, so whenever the operon, so guys, you can see that. So positive regulation example is tryptophan operon. Okay, tryptophan. Okay. So whenever, so we require a tryptophan amino acid, right? So it is required for the daily processes. Okay. So the tryptophan was synthesized daily. So what will happen whenever the tryptophan concentration was high on that time, the tryptophan operon was going to activate. Okay. So what it is going to do, it is going to stop the tryptophan synthesis. Okay. So that is why it is called as a positive regulation. Okay, guys, it is the positive regulation. So the example for the positive regulation is tryptophan operon. So negative regulation is the lac operon. So in the tryptophan operon, what will happen? It is always on. It is going to be off. Okay. In the lac operon, it is off. It is going to be on. Okay. So option C is also wrong and option D is also wrong. Okay, guys. Thank you so much, guys. If you understood this means that is okay. If you didn't understood means you can ask me the question. Prachi and Mayuri, please go through the videos which I sent you yesterday. Okay. If you have any questions in that, you can ask me in the next class. I will tell you. Okay. Before going to end the class, guys, answer me in the answer me for the NPS. I'm going to launch the teacher NPS. Mayuri, are you there? Mayuri, are you there, ma? Okay. Okay, guys. If you have any confusion, kindly ask me. I'm happy to answer you. Okay. Prachi, how is your studies going on, ma? Mayuri, how is your studies going on? I think, guys, you're going very good. You're answering me in the questions very nicely. I'm actually proud of you. That is very good. You're answering the questions right. I think you're understanding the things. Kindly practice the questions, okay? Then only you're going to understand the things. So, guys, here is the homework for you. So, solve some questions, module questions on the solve some questions, module questions on this. And you have any questions, you can ask me. Guys, here is the another question for you. Okay. So, the lac operon in the E. coli is induced by. I think you know that. Induced by. Okay. So I've told you the two things. Okay. You can answer me in the chat box only, guys. Very good, Prachi. Yes. If they are given the lactose means you have to choose the lactose only. Okay. Because lactose is going to convert into the allolactose, right? So you can answer me that is a lactose only. If they are given lactose and allolactose together, you answer only allolactose. Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. We will see in the next class. Okay. Okay, guys. Bye-bye.